The crimes that are committed, whether it is violence, cruelty, or spite, it is all the result of a single problem: lack of love. The Shastras, in particular Srimad Bhagavatam, describe that there is a place in God creation where there is an abundance of love. This place is called Braj. And I think we are lucky to have Nitu Mataji. Is from Gokul, Haribol. What a wonderful birth, Nitu Mataji. We're so lucky. That place called Braj Vrindavan, part of a place called Vaikuntha, which means a place where there are no problem. So what we need to do is reside mentally in the 12 forest of Vrindavan. Then everything will run so wonderfully. There are no prisons and no police. There are no means of coercion and even no managers in the mundane sense. Everything is done out of love and everything is so simple. The people there cooperate with each other and love each other because they all love Krishna. This is a society that we are trying to recreate on earth to a certain degree. You know, this is profound instructions that even if you want to love your loved one, you must love Krishna. Otherwise, you won't be able to execute that love toward your loved ones also. All desire other than the desire for love appear in our heart due to this lack of love. Our heart is empty, giving rise to desire that generally do not make anyone happy. People go crazy because of these desires, and such as the desire for respect, honor, money, and so on. What do we actually need? Only love. When there is love, we need nothing else. And when there is no love, we need everything else and still remain unsatisfied. And when we have everything else, it's still not enough. Vamandev says, quote, even if one is in a possession of the entire world, it will still be not enough, unquote. One will start war with another universe and will try to conquer it. Why? Because the greed in the heart is insatiable. When there is a vacuum in the heart due to the absence of God, that vacuum sucks in everything but can be filled because it is only God who can fill it. I think there is an analogy I read before that there is a black hole in our heart and that remain empty unless you put Krishna into that. So how we will be able to put Krishna in our heart? By calling out with sincere utmost desire to have him stay in our heart. By chanting the holy name can cleanse our heart and they will reside. And we can see the presence at all the time. Right now it's very difficult for us to even remember Krishna throughout the day. But when we cleanse properly our heart, we will be. This desire to be near Krishna and love Krishna, the way his devotees love him without any deceptions, is the beginning and the foundation of Raganuga sadhana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought us the method to attaining the same love, completely pure and absolutely selfless. This is the potential we can develop. It is not for nothing that the human form is called Sudhana Deha, Sadhana Deha. It is because sadhana means a certain practice through which we can achieve the goal, sadhya. People in this world achieve amazing goals through practice. Some run very quickly, some jump very high, some swim very deep, some fly very high. They can mentally multiply and divide multiple digit numbers if they want to, or they can play chess and see 20 moves ahead. Using various methods of practice, we can develop incredible skills. The most amazing thing is that I can learn to love Krishna the way he is loved in Vrindavan. This is the most amazing ability which is given to us at birth. And the sadhana we are practicing is supposed to bring us to the state in which the potential that's built in us fully reveals complete, absolute, pure, and selfless love. That is what we are looking for. What are people looking for in the material world? They are looking for Krishna because the ideal is sought after all the time. The Shastra says that to that end, we should hear about Krishna with faith and in a certain mood. On the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, we can meet Krishna because it is non-different from Krishna himself. So the commentary continues. We will continue tomorrow. So let's dwell now in the life of Srila Prabhupada, who has bring the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to the Western world, giving us an opportunity to deliver our soul from the cycle of birth and death. You know, our tendency is we forget. We suffer a lot. It's not easy even to take a birth in this material world. So much pain. We are crying out, and every one of us has requested Krishna that please get me out of this suffering and I will worship you day and night. That's the promise we made. But we are so ignorant that we can't remember. I will read one paragraph which we read yesterday and then we will continue. Speaking before his Indian audiences, Srila Prabhupada also told about his preaching in the West. One evening, he gave a personal history describing how his spiritual master on the first meeting had immediately told him to preach Lord Chaitanya's message to the English-speaking world. I think it was in 1922. Quote, at that time, I argued with him that we are a dependent nation and who is going to hear about our message? So he defeated my argument. Yes, he was a learned scholar. So what I was a tiny boy. So I agreed that I was defeated. Prabhupada laughed softly. Prabhupada told about his business years in Allahabad and how he again met his spiritual master and became initiated. He told of starting back to Godhead in 1944, of taking sannyas, and of finally traveling to America in 1965. He mentioned his struggles in New York City and how the first boys had joined him when he started his movement in a storefront on 2nd Avenue. Quote, so practically we begin work from 1968. In 1966, I started, but in 67, I became very much sick. So I came back to India. And again, I went there in 1968. Practically, this propaganda work began vigorously from 1968, from 68, 69, 70, and this is 71. So 3, 4 years, all these branches have grown up. And now practically throughout the whole continent of Europe and throughout America, they know what is Hare Krishna movement is due to our propaganda. Early each morning before sunrise, Prabhupada would sit in the temple room before his disciple and lecture from Srimad Bhagavatam. And each morning the lights would go out, leaving everyone in darkness. It was a typical Indian power failure, and Prabhupada would stop lecturing while a devotee lit 2 candles by his Vyasasan and 2 candles on the altar. Long shadows would mix with the luminous gold of the Radha Krishna deities, and Prabhupada, wearing spectacles and holding open the Srimad Bhagavatam in his hand, would appear wonderfully mysterious. One morning, Srila Prabhupada sang a new song, Jaya Radha Madhava. Quote, I will teach you this song, unquote, he said. Reciting the first line, he had the devotee repeat it again and again, one line at a time. He went through the song, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari. They should know it, he told them, by the next morning. Only a few devotees managed to memorize the song. So the next morning, Prabhupada went through it again, line by line. And during the evening lecture, he explained the meaning of that song, which is Prabhupada explained as follows. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Krishna is enjoying in Vrindavan. That is the real picture of God. Simply enjoying. The Vrindavan Lila of Krishna is the perfect presentation of the Supreme Personality Godhead. He is simply enjoying. All the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the gopis, the cowherd boys, Maharaj Nanda and Yasoda, everyone is simply anxious how to make Krishna happy. They have no other business. The residents of Vrindavan have no other business than to satisfy Krishna. And by satisfy Krishna, they become satisfied. And Krishna has also no other business just to please and satisfy his devotees, keep them happy. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari. He is acting as a little son of Yasoda, and his only business is how to please the residents of Vrindavan. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari. He is wandering in the forest of Vrindavan on the bank of Yamuna. And this is the actual picture of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Brahma, Indra, big demigods, they are also bewildered. They are sometimes mistaken how this cowherd boy can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like some of us think like that. But those who are thinking like that, for them also there is manifestations of Krishna's supremacy. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Although he is engaged in pleasing the residents of Braj, when there is need, he can lift up the Govardhan hill at the age of 7 years. Or he can kill the Putana at the age of 3 months. So many demons used to visit daily. Krishna used to go with the calves and cows with his friends in the forest. And every single day, Kamsa used to send a demon to kill him. Agasura, Bakasura, Dhenukasura, so many. So also, Krishna is playing just like a cowherd boy. His supreme mercy as the supreme personality of Godhead is never absent there. That is God. God is not created by meditation. God is always remain God. God can never be manufactured. And we should understand this. On the third morning after introducing Jaya Radha Madhava, Prabhupada again sang it with the devotees responding. Then he began to explain it further. Radha Madhava, he said, have their eternal rubbing pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. When we visit the Vrindavan, we may not be able to see it because of our impure heart. But those who are self-realized, who has cleansed the dirt from their heart, they can still see this uppercut lila going on 24/7. He stopped speaking and his closed eyes flooded with tears. And he began gently rocking his head. His body trembled. Several minutes passed, and everyone in the room remained completely silent. Finally, he returned to external consciousness and said, now just chant Hare Krishna. After this, the Radha Krishna deity of Gorakhpur became known as Sri Sri Radha Madhava. Kausalya would regularly wash the temple floor while Prabhupada gave his Srimad Bhagavatam lecture. One morning, Prabhupada interrupted his lecture. Quote, just see this girl, unquote, he said. Kausalya was down at the other end of the room, scrubbing. This is first-class service. Haribol. The next day, Prabhupada called Kausalya forward. Quote, every morning, you are washing the floor so nicely, he said. But this morning, you are washing the floor like a crow. Take a bath. Prabhupada shook his hand as if flicking water about. You do not know how to wash the floor. I'm going to show you. Haribol. So Prabhupada came down from his Vyasasana and walked to the other end of the room, followed by all the devotees. Where is your bucket? Kausalya brought over her bucket. Prabhupada asked for a rug. She gave him hers. He then crouched down and started scrubbing. Quote, this is how you wash the floor, unquote, he said. with lots of water, and you do it in a section at a time. It should be done in two stages. First with a wet rag and then with a wrong rag. The devotee stood in amazement, watching. Several times Prabhupada repeated the procedure, washing a section of the floor and then drying it. Careful not to touch the clean area with his feet. See, he said, that is expert. So you do in the front and keep on moving in the back, so you don't step on the clean floor. When Tamal Krishna requested Prabhupada to move on to Bombay and begin preaching, Prabhupada replied, quote, let us see if Krishna wants us to have this place, unquote. This devotee always depend on Krishna. We should learn one thing, accept everything in our life as the blessings of Krishna. It may be adverse situation or it may be pleasing. We should accept gladly because Krishna always does good for his devotees. We may not understand at that time. So Hansadutta also became restless to preach, and Prabhupada sent him with a group of brahmacharis to Aligarh and Agra. Little appeared to be happening in Gorakhpur, but Prabhupada had plans. He was still negotiating with the university authorities for land for constructing a temple. He is describing, if we are successful in our attempt, it will be unique in all the world, and soon more and more college campuses will follow. And if we can establish a seat of Krishna consciousness, then students may take their doctorate degree in Krishna consciousness and go out and preach all over the world. So Prabhupada had actually three goals: to reach the Gorakhpur University student, to introduce Kirtan into the factories, and to introduce Kirtan into the homes. The main obstacle was lack of commitment from the local people. We also see in our life that our commitment is very weak. Something happened, we always delude and we swayed away. The main obstacle was lack of commitment from the local people. Many were willing to attend his evening lectures, but to actually surrender time, money, and energy in service of Krishna was most difficult. At least the Radha Krishna temple was lively, and Prabhupada hoped the director of Gita Press would turn the Krishna Niketan building over to ISKCON permanently. Prabhupada continued lecturing morning and evening. For 3 consecutive evenings, he spoke on a single verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, defeating the Mayavad argument that the absolute truth is ultimately impersonal Brahman. Quote, the Mayavadi philosopher says that the absolute is impersonal and that there is no different energy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's challenge is that the absolute truth has got multi-energies. Suppose someone has a big business, a big factory. So if the proprietor says, I am all pervading over this factory, that is correct. Take for example Birla. They say Birla's factory. Birla's name is there, although Birla is a person and he's not personally present in that factory. Everyone says Birla's factory. That means Birla's money, Birla's energy is there. Is any loss in that factory? The suffering goes to Birla. Or if there is any gain in the factory, the profit goes to Birla. Therefore, Birla's energy is there in the factory. Similarly, the whole creation is a manifestation of Krishna. Everything there is Krishna, his energy. He is represented by his energy. That is called simultaneously one and different, Achinta, Veda, Abheda Tattva. Discussing preaching in America, Prabhupada said, the Western world was 99% in the mode of ignorance and passion. Although America was the richest nation on earth, its youth were becoming hippies, much to the dismay of parents and government leaders. So despite their wealth, they were unhappy. They were ripe, however, for understanding spiritual knowledge. Quote, this is the causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Now you can see that these boys, when they are chanting, how they are in ecstasy. They are immediately on the transcendental platform. Not only here, everywhere, wherever they are chanting, in every temple. The advantage of those boys and girls is that they have no hodgepodge in their head. They directly accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they directly accept the instructions of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, they are making advancement. This fortune is that their brain is not congested with hodgepodge ideas. They have given up all other occupations and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in India, we can also do that. What is the difficulty? We must do this. Just accept this. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam and surrender unto him. Srimad Bhagavatam wonderfully describe all the incarnation of Krishna. He comes in a different forms at different times, different yugas. But it says at the end, Eta Chansa Kalaha Punsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. But out of all these incarnations, Krishna is the Swayam Bhagavan. Prabhupada celebrated the appearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in Gorakhpur. At the morning gathering, he said, quote, we should honor this day and very respectfully pray to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami that, quote, we are engaged in your service, so give us strength, give us intelligence. We are being guided by your servant. So in this way, we have to pray. And I think in the evening, we shall distribute prasadam. There will be so many guests coming, so they can be distributed prasadam. Prabhupada said, life members and other friends should be invited for the flower offering at noon. One of the devotees asked about the feast. Prabhupada responded, feasting means puri and halwa and a vegetable and chutney. That's all. 4 things. Make it simple. Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Prabhupada, you want us to offer a feast to your Guru Maharaj at noontime? A special plate of feast? Prabhupada responded as follows. Not a special plate. The process is that whatever we offer to the deity, that is offered to Guru. And Guru offered to his Guru. In this way, it goes to Krishna. We don't directly offer to Radha and Krishna. No, we have no right. Nor does Krishna accept in that way. The picture of the acharyas. Why are they there? Actually, you have to offer the plate to your Guru, and he will offer to his Guru, and he offer to his Guru, his Guru. In this way, it will go to Krishna. That is the process. You cannot directly approach Krishna or predecessors, acharyas. That is not possible. So I think the topic is ended and we should stop here. We should be punctual in our service. We should value the time of all the devotees. Some devotee may have other work need to be done. So before they go, we would like to offer our humble obeisances at the desk of this wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, who's taking so much austerity, so many things we have to sacrifice to wake up early in the morning. And as my Guru Maharaj was saying, 75-80% of your devotional service depend on what time you go to bed. There is nothing, any productive things we do in the evening. So better to go take a rest so we can be fresh early in the morning to chant the Hare Krishna with full attention. So with that, let me offer our humble obeisances. Vanchu kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu bhaivacha patitanam pavane